Hello everyone and welcome back to another RevvHaüs race review with myself, Aaron, and Jason.
Hello.
We're going to be going over the 2025 Qatar Grand Prix. Let's just get started. Jason's going to run us through the sprint qualifying and the sprint race, so you take it away.
Yeah, so with the sprint format in play this week, teams only got 1 hour to gather as much data possible to set the car up right during free practice 1. That means the stakes are immediately high from the jump this weekend with some of the last championship points on the line. With no second free practice ahead, teams immediately have to turn to setting the car up properly for the qualifying under these lights. Sprint qualifying was in follows this weekend. It was a shortened knockout session with SQ1 and SQ2 on the medium tyres, and then everybody finished SQ3 on the softs. This means less time and more pressure. To go over FP1, Oscar Piastri delivered the fastest time with a 1:20.924 and Norris and Alonso behind him. Piastri took pole in the sprint qualifying, Norris 2 places behind in 3rd and Max crawling along in 6th. That means it was all to play for this weekend. Oscar Piastri cruised to take the sprint victory. Lando finished in 3rd and Max came home in 4th after Yuki gave him that position at the start of the race. And that brings us into qualifying starting grid. Oscar, Lando, Max, and that set us up perfectly for the race this weekend.
Thank you very much. So let's get started with the race then. Obviously, the biggest talking point was McLaren's missed strategy under that initial safety car that kind of handed Max the win in the end.
I think at this point McLaren are just playing too fair. You know what I mean? They couldn't make the call early enough. They didn't know what to do, and they shot both of their drivers in the foot. It
was a baffling call. It was a strange one. It seemed like the obvious strategy call to make, because then at that point it did split the race into 2 perfect 25 lap stints.
I know. I don't know why they didn't do that. It was like the most opportune safety car you could have asked for. Lap 7 splits that up, means you get a free pit stop, and you've got 2 to go to the rest of the race. And they were just like, they just couldn't make a decision.
Yeah, and again, from watching the race, it did sound like they were trying to work in another safety car into that strategy,
which I don't think was. It was really lucky getting 1 safety car in Qatar. Yeah, but I think 2 was sort of hitting hope, like, because
once the race starts settling down, people get stuck into DRS trains.
And we've seen that DRS train. It was going on throughout the entire race.
It was kind of tough to watch once you sort of got to about lap 30.
Yeah,
then it all kicked off again at lap 32 with a massive multi-car pit lane.
And Piastri deciding to go onto the hard tires and fighting Max for that win, and ultimately he didn't get it.
He wasn't able to do it.
But yeah, Oscar started on pole and finished 2nd.
He should have won that race.
He should have won that race. They should have pulled him in. Honestly, like, this whole McLaren thing, we got to keep it fair. The drivers got to go on both strategies. That defeats the whole purpose of having two garages. You know what I mean? You're not working off the same plan. These are 2 different drivers, 2 setups, completely different, and you're going in and you're trying to race the same race. And they've done it the entire season.
It really felt like Oscar needed someone to be there to advocate for him during that race, to kind of, like, you know, do what's best for him. Ultimately, what they done, you could say, was the best for the team, because they're still head of the Drivers' Championship. So, but then again, it's not the best for the driver. Oscar was clearly the fastest driver that whole weekend. He was faster than Norris in every session. He was faster than Norris in the sprint. He was faster than Norris in the whole race. His pace has just been far, far, far better this weekend. I think if you were to be truly fair to another driver, you would prioritize a guy that is on merit quicker. Yeah,
and someone who is also first. Yeah, which sort of gives into the thing. If Lando was first, would they have brought them in?
I don't know.
You know what I mean?
I don't know if I can make that call. That's hard. That's a big hypothetical.
Because it seems like throughout this entire championship, they've been favouring Lando in a sense. Any strategy calls, it seems like it's been coming out in his favour. And any time it isn't coming out in his favour, they're immediately trying to fix it with what we had in Monza. Like you were saying, Oscar Piastri, quickest the entire weekend, FP1 through the qualifying and the race. Yeah. He was dominating. They messed up the strategy. And then they asked their drivers to do something that they don't want to do.
Because he absolutely had the pace to win that race. You even saw at the end, that final stint, as he was catching down Max. Like, he was think he got it down to about 9 seconds or something before the end. Like, he was really reeling it in. You know, obviously he didn't have enough time. He didn't have the pace deficit or the pace gap over Max. So it's
it's almost the same again this weekend. He came in for that final pit stop, got the hard tires on, had a 15-second gap, only whittled it down to 9 seconds.
And it was frustrating to watch. Obviously, I don't really have a horse in this race. Die-hard Ferrari fan.
We had no horses in this race.
No, the horses were... I don't know where the horses were this race. But
going off.
But obviously, it's frustrating to watch because Oscar did do everything right this weekend. He qualified on pole for the sprint, which he absolutely had to do. He won the sprint, which he absolutely had to do. He qualified on pole for the race, which he absolutely had to do. Yep. And he 100% could have won that race, which he absolutely needed. And they've just kind of handed they've almost handed the psychological advantage now to Max going into the last race. Max is in the ultimate nothing to lose situation. McLaren have to be 100% perfect operationally over the next
just
next
for
race.
Reference, Lando has to finish third or higher to beat Max next week, and Lando finished fourth this week.
It's not out of the question. It really is not out of the question. And this is another big operational error from McLaren in the last two races. Obviously, they got disqualified in Vegas for the skid blocks, and then they just an absolutely appallingly bad misguided strategy under the safety car.
Like coming off the back of Vegas, making such a massive blunder for both drivers, getting disqualified. You thought they would have came in Qatar with, let's do this properly, let's make all the right calls, let's think about it. And they just don't do it. It's every weekend they're going in with the same problems.
It feels like a pressure cooker situation.
Doesn't
it feels
it?
like the lid's about to blow off. And if the lid's going to blow off, it's going to blow off in Abu Dhabi next week because the pressure is going to be astronomical.
And especially for a race weekend where Lando was actually struggling and Oscar's garage had the opportunity to get this win, maximize the points. Again, they didn't do it because they're being held back by this team bureaucracy that's going on.
And despite obviously Oscar being the outright fastest McLaren all weekend, Lando was still sort of keeping with him. Like it was a very small pace disadvantage that Lando had over the weekend.
And if you are behind, it's so much harder to get in front in these tracks compared to the tracks we've had previous, like Vegas and Brazil, that just gifts you with overtaking. It just doesn't work like that in Qatar. The tire deg is too high, the corners are too fast to go around side by side, and the opportunities, frankly, just aren't there. If you're behind, it's really hard to get in front. Like, you need to qualify well in Qatar, and that's something Lando didn't do. And making these strategical blunders just did not help their race this weekend.
And he wasn't able to move up during the sprint, and he had a disappointing start to the race. And again, it just goes back to the small little micro mistakes that Lando keeps making. Obviously, he's had an incredible run over the last sort of 6 races, but just this weekend was kind of that sort of falling back into the small mistakes. Again, in Abu Dhabi, he has to be 100% perfect. He needs to win.
He can't make a mistake. He needs to qualify a pole, and he needs to win the race. He needs to win the race the way Lewis was going to win the race in 21.
Yeah, he has to qualify on pole and basically run away with it.
Yeah.
If I think it was Anthony Davidson was saying, if he did win the championship in Abu Dhabi or Qatar or wherever it was, he was ended up going to win it. He would be a deserving champion because ultimately he had the most points at the end of the season, but he'd be slightly unconvincing. And I kind of agree with that in premise.
We're almost getting to the point where both McLaren drivers have been
unconvincing.
Do you know what I mean?
I would agree. I'm getting to that point as well. I would like Oscar to win it, but
it's a bittersweetness for Oscar to win it. It's a pure bitterness if Lando wins it for us, because we don't want Lando to win it.
I'm Team Piastri. I said I had no horse in this race, but I'll be honest, I do.
If Oscar wins it, it's a bittersweet, because if he does, he's only grabbed it by a margin, and that means something catastrophic has to happen to Max and Lando in that race. Do you know what I mean? So it's sort of a bittersweet thing if Oscar gets it. But if Max gets it, it's it's perfect. Yeah. You know what I mean? It shows McLaren that everything they've done this season was wrong.
Yeah, I think I agree with that, to be fair. The only thing is, Oscar really hasn't done himself any favors.
He's not towards the end of the season. He was flawless at the start of the season. Like, his drive was insane. Like, if you watched his performances, you would have thought that he was in F1 for like 4 or 5 years, the way he was driving, do you know what I mean? And then after Zandvoort, after the summer break, we've just got this crash in performance, and it's not mirrored with the crash of the car's performance. The car has just been stagnant over the last course of the season. They've stopped developing it. The pace is still there above everybody else, but Oscar was dying in that car, like, and he was making super critical mistakes, like crashing in Baku. You know what I mean? Even if he finished 4th or 5th, that was 10 points. You know what I mean? That would have closed the gap to like 4 points going into Abu Dhabi.
Same as Brazil. All he did was finish 3rd in the sprint.
And he spun on the corner. Yeah. Just took too much corner.
But yeah, it was a disappointing weekend for McLaren.
Absolutely.
Overall, with individual performances from Oscar being incredibly good, and then obviously Lando still sort of keeping there, nipping on his heels.
Just as a whole, as the team, has been incredibly disappointing, and it's all too familiar at this point. So
operationally, very, very disappointing from McLaren. Again, obviously, off the back of Vegas, didn't need that. It's just more bad PR, and it's just going to be more questions for people like Stella and Zach Brown to just answer. It's just going into. I would not want to be Zach Brown or Andrea Stella facing the media in the Abu Dhabi paddock this week.
No, and as for two guys that come off as two people that their drivers can go up to immediately and ask questions after the race, it seems like after Qatar they were running away and trying to get their answers straight for what went wrong and why they did this, and you know what I mean, and they just couldn't come up with a good answer.
Well, we did get one good answer from Zach Brown. He is offering hugs to Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri. If it all does go wrong in Abu Dhabi, they'll be getting a nice big hug. So.
If a championship isn't worth it, you'll get a big fat hug from Zach Brown.
From Zach Brown. Oh. We would all love a big hug from Zach after throwing away your life goal.
Stop, you're going to make me die here. Like.
But moving on to our next team
McLaren
is Mercedes. And the big news from Mercedes this weekend was actually more off track than on track. At the end, Antonelli made a bit of a mistake, got some oversteer, went off the track. Lando kind of psyched on through, and then he got blamed for it by
GP. Did not help this situation whatsoever. This almost
GP started it.
I'm gonna say this almost feels like a situation that was instigated by GP.
It was, because that was the initial radio message. It was like, it just looked like he pulled over and let Lando through.
And it didn't help that the broadcast gave us like a half shot angle of it. Do you know what I mean? We were seeing like the back end of Norris going through, so everybody was sort of like, what happened there, for a couple minutes, and then that's already enough time for people to form their opinions. Like, do you know what I mean?
As soon as they saw as soon as they saw Lando drive past Kimi, that's kind of like, oh, well, that's your opinions to form. Like, let's go to Twitter.
There was no lockup, no visible mistake you could see from the original footage that we seen until we got the replay, and it was like, did he just let him drive through there?
Also, I don't think the replay was shown on the broadcast until after the race had finished, because I think we were sitting watching it going, we're finally going to see what happened here.
Yeah, it took a while for us to see it, and like you did see on the onboard that he lost it. He made a mistake, like, do you know what I mean? And it's just one of those things that happens. He had him behind him for like 15 laps, nearly 20 laps on those older tires than Norris had, like, do you know what I mean? For a rookie to be even defending that well against Lando Norris, who's fighting for the championship, bravo. And Mercedes didn't really have that great pace around Qatar this weekend. Like,
I think they were okay. They were fairly average. They were okay. They were good. They weren't going to win the race, but if they got it right, they definitely could have got a podium, I think. I don't think their pace was too bad. It was definitely best of the rest, I think.
It was just, it's just, I don't know, I suppose off the back of those good results that Mercedes have had, once you see them down in 4th and 5th, or 5th and 6th, it's sort of like, the pace wasn't there, they're having a bad weekend, like, but
they did only drop 2 places from their grid order, so like overall it wasn't bad. They only really lost out to Sainz in the end.
But that means this is another week that Antonelli has outperformed George Russell.
It is. George Russell had a pretty bad start by the looks of it.
George Russell, he hasn't been convincing all weekend. Like, he held his position in the sprint race, which was good, but coming into the race, he didn't do anything major. So
he was good in sprint qual, and he was good in the sprint. I have to give him that. He qualified well and he finished the race well. He didn't let Lando push him about and he didn't let him get through. So he he did what he needed to do in that sense.
I suppose, but having your teammate outperform you again just isn't good. Like, especially.
Yeah, I mean, I think he got jumped at the start and then he got caught in the pits with that safety car whenever everybody came in. So I think he lost positions there. So it was kind of, I think he was kind of damned at that point, if I'm being honest. Like, because once you start getting stuck in traffic with the pits, you've got everybody double stacking, it just becomes a bit of a melee.
It was a bit chaotic on that lap 7 pit stop. Like, a lot of people were getting jumped, so they were.
But I think they looked strong overall. They looked decent. You know, George and Kimi both looked pretty good this weekend. You know, kind of again solidifying that, you know, the Merc is a pretty decent package.
Yeah, coming in towards the end of this season, it's definitely keeping George on his toes. So Kimi, do you know what I mean?
I think he needs that though.
He does need that because he's been cruising along there since he's joined. Like, because Lewis was having a stinker. And those starting ground effect cars, like, do you know what I mean? So he was just beating him willy nilly, like.
Yeah.
And then Kimmy's came along, and he was sort of, you know what I mean? He was top dog, got a rookie in beside him, and now we're getting towards the end of the season, and Kimmy's putting in those good results that we need to see, like, you know. So it is good to see, and I'm really interested to see how their battle plays out in 26.
I think it'll be good as well. It's just a shame what Kimi had to put up with at the end of the race. You know, he done everything he could have done this weekend. He had a good race, he had a good qualifying, he had a good sprint, and then to just basically just be lambasted online for something you didn't do, and then for someone else's race engineer to kind of just seed that thought, and then for Helmut Marko to kind of double down on it.
It doesn't help.
It doesn't help, and then Red Bull having to put out a statement at the end.
I didn't even know that.
They put a statement out
so they've ignored it. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? And I think we've almost sort of been gifted these past few years to have Max and Lewis, who were fighting for the championship, to be so resilient. And whenever things were happening in 2021, people were saying the same things. Do you know what I mean? All hell was breaking loose on social media, but those guys were just so tough-skinned, weren't bothered about it.
I wager they weren't even looking at their socials.
Do you know what I mean? And it's just sort of one of those things that you take for granted. Like, these are drivers at the end of the day. Kimmy's 18 years old. Of course he's going to be on social media. Like, do you know what I mean? He made a mistake.
Doesn't matter what line of work you're in. Like, if you're an F1 driver or you're working down the shops, like,
and we're not asking people to coddle him. Like, do you know what I mean? People are open to criticism, but sometimes it just goes too far, doesn't it? Yeah,
and I think with the way the social media landscape is at the minute, with, you know, with Formula One and stuff, I think it's getting to be more tribalistic. You see it all the time. There's like fans are constantly each other's necks on Instagram and Facebook and YouTube, and it's a bit toxic online.
Yeah. So pray for Kimi.
Yeah.
That's what we're going to say. Pray for Kimi. But moving on to Red Bull.
Yes.
Talk about Red Bull. The star of the show, Max Verstappen.
Again.
Never count him out. Never count him out.
He's kind of like, he's like an omnipresent force. He's like Michael Myers from Halloween.
He's like an immovable object that meets an unstoppable force. Like, do you know what I mean? Well, let me just see where this guy started again.
Because he was lurking in the background all weekend. He was always there. He was always like a fly in the ointment of the McLaren kind of race weekend thing. He was always there. He was always pressuring. Like, he never laid down all weekend.
Like, starting third, straight to first. Like, this is easy for Max. Like, do you know what I mean? And especially after McLaren making such a stupid mistake with the pit not pitting.
Piastri probably could have held off Max with the pace advantage of McLaren, 100%.
Absolutely. Like, and McLaren weren't going into any traffic pitting. I don't know why it took them so. Not to talk about McLaren again, but I don't know why it took them so long to come up with a decision whether to pit or not.
Yeah,
because everybody bailed into the pits. Max was straight into the pits. Yuki was straight into the pits. You know what I mean? It was just seemed like the logical thing to do.
I think we were saying this yesterday as well. Like, I almost have this feeling that maybe McLaren are getting too bogged down in the data.
You said that yesterday too. You know what I mean?
They're maybe looking too much into the data and trying to come up with, like, you know, too many permutations of how a race can be run. Like, sometimes I have a feeling that a lot of the teams probably just thought, okay, safety car, we'll take it now because it breaks the race into 25 lap stint. Logically, it made sense. Yes, the cars probably would have got caught up, but I think Lando probably still would have finished at least third.
I think it would have been rare for the cars to get caught up because they could have double stacked. Oscar was 7 seconds ahead of Norris, so he was
like 5 or something seconds.
You know what I mean? They're at the front of the pack, they pull in, get their pit stop done, and they're out and away, and then the rest of the grid will follow. It seemed like such a logical thing to do.
Yeah, like,
and again, Red Bull just
taking advantage
of that opportunity again, but. You know what I mean? They've got Hannah Schmitz on the wall, and she is insane with strategy.
Very good.
Very, very good. Like,
and going up and getting the trophy.
Yes.
Just to kind of
Yeah,
as a little bit of a flex, I suppose, on
yeah.
McLaren. Just,
very, very well deserved. Send up the strategy, boss, because you guys messed it up. But yeah, that's just it. Max has closed this gap down to 12 points. Like,
this is big.
It
could have been 10, but
it could have been
12
10.
is still, 12 is still well within.
You know what I mean?
Like, Vettel came back in 2012 from like 15th or something to win that title.
Like, do you know what I mean? Like, he was at over 100 points gap whenever we were coming out of Zandvoort, and I don't think anybody ever could have foreseen this. Like, we knew McLaren were taking too many points off each other, and where I say that, the points are too balanced. You look at their points, they're too split. You're never going to win a championship like that, especially whenever Max is in the question. You know what I mean?
But the thing is, I think Max kind of caught them off guard. I don't think they were thinking Max was going to be in the question at this point of the season.
Stupid mistake.
It's in hindsight, it's a stupid mistake, but at the start of the season, you can forgive them.
I don't think anybody's ever going to make that mistake again.
You'd be mad.
You would be mad.
You would be mad unless the Red Bull is like proper rubbish next year.
Honestly, I wouldn't do it. I would never cut them out. I'd make sure, even if they're 10th in the championship, that means it's easier to cover that basis. Like, I don't even want to think about it. Max is just, he's too good. Like,
and it's going to be interesting going into Abu Dhabi. I'm excited to see what he does, because I think he's going to go in and he's just going to absolutely hammer it. I think he is.
Yeah, it's not his first championship to come down to Abu Dhabi. Like, do you know what I mean?
Like, I think the McLaren will probably have the advantage in Abu Dhabi. They were very good there last year, but I think the pressure, you're going to make silly mistakes. If it was like maybe the first race of the season, the McLarens would probably be good. Yep. But like, Oscar's never done it before. Lando's never properly done this kind of stuff before, like at least in Formula One. But I think the margin for error on the McLaren side is so much bigger that Max can be as carefree as he needs to be.
Yeah.
So like, he's going to have nothing, because he was probably never expecting to win the title anyway.
He's got nothing to lose if he just approaches this weekend as any other, the same way he did Qatar. Because me and you both listened to his interview that he recorded before the Qatar race, and he sounded like he wasn't really going for the fight, but he was still driving to keep himself in the fight. You know what I mean? It wasn't his number one priority to make sure he steals the championship off McLaren, but he was always going to make sure he was there to win it if something ever happened. And it's got to that point now where it's so close that going into Abu Dhabi, he's got all the experience. McLaren are coming off the back of two abhorrent weekends. Like you said, the margin for error is so high, and it looks so good for Red Bull.
All it needs is another silly operational error, or a badly timed safety car, or even for the Mercedes cars to show up.
Yeah.
Just anything
to take points. Even Ferrari, which will never happen, but for them to come up and get a podium, do you know what I mean? Just to take those points off McLaren, and to split that gap up.
I don't want to make any predictions just yet, but I could not call it. It's going to be mental.
Being second in the championship has never looked so good. It's never looked so good, man. And let's move on to Yuki then, you know what I mean? Because
he's solid in the sprint.
Yeah,
he was pretty good.
He done what he had to do in the sprint. He held off. Who did he held off in the sprint? Alonso. He held off Alonso very well to let Max through. So
yes, that's right. He was very compliant at the start.
Yes, that was a very well done move. That's exactly what we needed from him. He just couldn't find that pace going into the race, which set him behind a little bit. Wasn't a bad drive. He started 15th and he got into the points.
Which is fair.
But again, at the end of the day, is this enough to keep his seat?
With Red Bull, probably not.
Probably not. Red Bull will be expecting you to win the championship at this rate to keep your seat.
If I was Red Bull, I'd keep him.
100%.
I would keep Isaac Hadjar in that RB for another year, maybe 2 years.
No, if you've got such an experienced driver in your sister team and you're constantly getting good results and good points, it only looks good for them.
Yeah.
And you're only giving Hadjar more experience. Give yourselves time to develop that Red Bull car. First year of 26, new regs, see how your feet have hit the ground. Yuki's already got a year in that team working with the management and the engineers. Do you know what I mean?
It feels a bit rushed.
It does.
If it happens,
but they've done it so many times.
It's not out of the question. It's probably going to get announced at the end of the race.
You know what I mean? And it's going to be the wrong move for them. They're going to rush another driver's career, and it's going to be end of 26, Hadjar out. There's going to be nowhere for him because the seats are filled. Do you know what I mean? Like, if anything, he might get an Alpine seat. at the end of 26 if he doesn't perform in Red Bull. And that's not where you want your career to go.
No,
not right now.
Even if Alpine decide to
take him,
to take people, because I don't know what Alpine's contractual obligations to Colapinto and Gasly are, but no. I don't know. I can't see them going anywhere really. If I'm being perfectly honest, I think Hadjar needs to stay in RB, or Red Bull need to put him in that team and like really, really get behind him and actually back him up. So,
and I think it's unfair to judge Yuki's performance in this car. Do you know what I mean? The team got him in because Lawson was performing so bad, right? They've got Yuki in now. He's not performing terribly. No. He's scored points in that car. He's made little moves to help Max Verstappen. They just need to see how he goes in that 26 car. That is the real judgment, because that's where we're going. We're going into the new regs. Why are we comparing a guy driving a 25 car to see how he's going to do for the team in 26?
Yeah, he's a safe pair of hands.
Do you know what I mean? He's a safe pair of hands. He's been in the team, in the sport for so long, and he's been in that sister team for so long. He knows the Red Bull crew. It would be stupid to kick him out with so much experience.
And that brings us on to our next point with Yuki Tsunoda. He does need to be on form in Abu Dhabi.
He does. He needs to be on form from this point out.
He does. He has to pull an incredibly good result out of this race. He needs to be up there with Max. He needs to be sniffing around 5th and 4th to really kind of.
I think 4th is like unrealistic with the amount of competition at the front of the grid, but I could definitely see Yuki getting one of those 6th positions. If Hadjar's got one of them, surely Yuki can get one of them. Like, do you know what I mean? We've seen the pace in the sprint. He just needs to find a way to keep it throughout the entire race.
Because he needs to be there to capitalise if something happens to the McLarens. But then again, Red Bull kind of almost need every team to be up there next weekend. They need the Mercedes up there, and they need Tsunoda up there to help them, because anyone that can take away those potential 3rd and 4th, and if Max goes on and somehow wins the race, they need it.
They need all the help they can get,
because it's the margins are tight whenever it comes to this championship.
It really does. And that closes us up for the Red Bulls. Should we move on to the Williams then?
Move on to Ferrari.
Move on to
Ferrari. Ferrari. You're killing me.
You're killing us. You're killing us, man. This is the worst finish to a season they've had in so long.
They have had an appalling performance all weekend. That car had no pace at all. The balance was all over the show. Lewis getting knocked out in Q1 was embarrassing, and Charles Leclerc seemed to be going off at every single corner he could.
Oh my God, bro. Oh, hell no, man. What the fuck, man?
Brother, this guy stinks!
I am stupid. I switch off everything.
And again, for Lewis, qualify or getting knocked out in Q3, this is not looking good for him.
It's
really not looking good for him. Like, do you know what I mean? And I know Charles' performance wasn't as good. He was on the back end of Q3, but they got Lewis in for a reason.
The more and more time goes on, hearing the way John Elkan's talking, I think Lewis Hamilton was purely a marketing hire. I don't think they are interested in any way, shape or form to implement any kind of changes he's talking about, because he was doing an interview and he was saying he has a notebook full of things he wants to change, and he's got a notebook of things that he thinks is good.
This is John Elkan?
No, this is Lewis.
Oh, this is Lewis.
But I don't think they care.
Of course they don't care.
So Lewis is purely there as a marketing exercise. And I don't think they care about what he has to say or what he has to do as a driver. He is there to drive a car, shut up, and
smile for the camera,
and just aura farm outside.
Aura farm the Instagram, like
that's what I mean? All he's there for, and it's fucking sad.
And can I just say, at the back end of Lewis Hamilton's career in Mercedes, he was also doing the same thing. He was telling Mercedes where they were going wrong, things that could change, and they were completely ignoring him. What is this thing about completely ignoring everything Lewis Hamilton has to say? I know half the time he's either crying or whinging or dumping his towel on his head, but whenever he seems to write stuff in this notebook, people need to be listening in and see what he has to say.
Yeah, release the Lewis Hamilton notebook. I want to see what's in it.
We need the Lewis Hamilton notebook. Honestly,
because if there's anybody that can give you legitimate feedback on how to improve your race team, it's going to be Lewis Hamilton. He's been there and done it. He's been in the most successful teams in Formula 1.
He's the second most experienced guy on the grid.
Yeah, he knows what he's talking about. And then, well, they're just killing Charles. So they're ignoring Lewis. They don't care about what he has to say. He's there to be a model, seemingly, and Charles, God help him, he's just dying. I don't know what that guy's doing, but my God, is he going through it?
They're just expecting him to pull out a good result.
Yeah.
Even though he can't, you know what I mean?
And he almost did.
He almost really did.
He almost did, but you could see that he was struggling for it because he was going off everywhere. The car, and he was struggling with the power steering, and it was just bad. It was just really, really, really bad from Ferrari. I have nothing more to say on it. They were absolutely appalling.
They do not deserve any more of our time. This is the worst momentum you could carry into the end of a season and going into 26. It is not looking good, bruv.
It is bad. It is bad.
So
2026 better be some turnaround in performance, because if they go in to Australia with the same performance that they showed today in Losail, I am going to cry.
If we go into Australia and have another performance like they did before, where they've had a DNF or they've crashed out and we've just had to sum it up to, it's the start of the season, give it time. I'm not doing it this year.
I'm not doing it
this year. We need to be on form.
I've been doing it for 17 years and I am at my wit's end at this point.
If Arsenal can win the Premier League, Ferrari can win the championship.
Interestingly, I'm also an Arsenal fan.
But yes, that's all the time Ferrari deserves from us.
Goodbye,
Ferrari.
Williams.
Let's talk about. I've been dying to talk about Williams. Dying.
Take it away.
Sainz podium again.
Second one.
Dude, I am elated. I told you yesterday whenever we were watching the race how much of a Sainz fan I am. Mm-hmm. This is the biggest fuck you to Ferrari they could have possibly ever asked for. Yep. I know Sainz isn't winning on points against Albon against the whole course of the season, but towards the end of this season, he's been reeling in these really good results. He is finding his feet so well in that team. Mm-hmm. And at the start of the season, looking at him in that Williams suit, it just didn't feel right because I wanted to see him in the Ferrari. I wanted to see him in a quick car.
Yeah.
But the Ferrari's not quick.
No, the Ferrari
and
sucks.
The Williams is getting podiums, and this is his second podium, first in Baku, second in Qatar. He couldn't have asked for a better first year in a new team, I think.
I think you're right. He has absolutely hit the ground running, and he's just built that momentum over the entire season. And he had strong pace all weekend. Like, he was P8 in sprint qualifying, P7, it was P8 in the sprint qualifying and the sprint, but P7 qualifying and P3 in the race. Like, he was strong. Like, he was fast this weekend. He absolutely, he had that car dialed in. And it was good to watch. It was really good to watch.
And it was good to watch because it was unexpected.
It was a bit unexpected.
The Baku podium was nice because we see him qualify well and we see him make up that position, and then they got the podium. But this just came out of nowhere off the back of a safety car, and it couldn't have happened to any better driver, I think.
Yeah,
it was really, really good to see.
And it's another real massive boost for the team going into 2026.
Absolutely.
Like, James Vowles has come in and absolutely turned that place around. Like, they are night and day to what they were years ago. Like, they are dialed in. They've got a pretty strong package. They have a really good driver lineup. They have a management team that seem to care and seem to know what to do. Like, it is good.
It's really like
good.
From going to having the screen on the physical car to finally having it on the steering wheel. It just shows you how much this team was struggling. They couldn't even have the screen on their steering wheel. Like, do you know
peak
what I mean?
2009 Red Bull there.
You know what I mean? This is what this team was going through. So it's really, really good to see them take up this positive change. Like, and I do love the direction they're going in.
Yeah, I really hope they've a good 2026.
Yeah, they've got something good to build off here. So I'm happy with Williams at the moment.
Albon, on the other hand, he had a pretty fair weekend, I think. You know, he was top 10 in the sprint and recovered the 11th in the race. But he probably would have wanted a bit better, seeing what Sainz was doing. Obviously, the car had the pace. You know, it wasn't a bad showing, but it was by no means the top performance that you could make out of that car that weekend. Now, maybe Sainz probably did get a bit help with the safety car and some of the strategies, but the pace was obviously there. Albon just wasn't able to capitalise on it and get the car further up the grid.
Yeah, for being the driver that's there the longest, you know what I mean, has the most experience, had carried this team pretty much until Sainz came in, and at the start of the season as well, whenever Sainz was having bad performances. So he probably almost feels like he deserves a podium at this rate.
Yeah.
And it's Sainz getting it. So I could imagine it's a bit bittersweet for him watching his team do well. But then he's also P11 whenever his teammates got a podium.
Got to be hard to watch.
It has to be hard to watch for him. Like,
but I don't think Albon's going to be bitter about it. He's a pretty chill guy.
He's a pretty chill guy, but these guys race me so hard, man.
Shall we move on to RB then?
RB. Where is my RB?
I think they had a pretty mixed weekend.
Yeah, again.
The sprint was okay. Hadjar 9th, Lawson 14th. Obviously not scoring points, but they were thereabouts.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those teams that we sort of didn't really notice this weekend.
Yeah.
Hadjar's just sort of been doing what he's been doing every week, pulling in those nice points finishes. Yeah, good qualifying, holding that strong pace.
Obviously, a bit of a shame for Hadjar. Obviously, running in 6th before his DNF there.
Oh yes, that's right. He got a DNF. Apologise.
With his penultimate lap tyre puncture,
that's
about
right,
as bad a luck as you can get.
You could possibly
left trundling round.
Yeah,
the
did
track.
he hit a bit of debris or something, or did he get clipped?
I think his front wing hit it maybe or something.
Yeah.
But it was. I do have my table here of DNF.
Information
reasons. Broken front wing and a part puncture was the reason he was out of the race. So he had a good race up until that point. He's running in 6th. That's a good points finish.
It's a good place for RB to be, and at least Lawson was up there in the points to score 2 whenever your teammate gets a DNF, because this whole season Hadjar's been
he's been on it.
He's been on it. So it's
definitely the best rookie of the season for me.
Yeah, so it's good to see Lawson snipe some points there when his teammate had an unfortunate incident.
Even though it was a bit of a mixed weekend for Lawson,
Yeah.
he had a good race finish, but the pace was just a wee bit.
He seemed to be really enjoying pushing the Ferraris off this weekend. I noticed he pushed Hamilton off and then he pushed Leclerc off. So
or was that just an extension of what Ferrari were already doing?
Coincidence meets coincidence. So will we go on to Aston Martin?
Aston, yes. Alonso was doing well this weekend. He had a strong showing in both qualifying sessions and the race, but he did fall back a little bit during the sprint. But overall, Alonso, again, pulling performance out of that Aston Martin.
Like I was saying, it was going to be hard to keep those places when you had Max and you had Yuki beside you, 2 guys working together, you know what I mean? Alonso's a one-man team at this rate. I think my comments, what I said in the new video, are standing up at this rate, because
I'm willing to
bow to that, because another DNF from Stroll, it's just not looking good. This is in front of your new team principal, especially whenever your teammates maximising the weekend. There's 6 points for him.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean?
Not to mention, he also got a penalty for speeding in the pits. Just sloppy performance.
Stupid mistakes. Do you know what I mean? Things that you should not be doing.
It is embarrassing to watch, because you're almost going into 2026 expecting that Aston Martin to be at least best the rest, or upper midfield.
So if you don't have both of your drivers performing well, and you're giving him this really good car that you're expecting to do well, and if Alonso does well in it in 26 and Stroll doesn't, we're going to have another case for, is the car just bad and Alonso's maximising it? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that just completely demerits the car, and you don't want to be doing that. You don't want to be doing that. Do you know what I mean? And again, we need to figure out what we're going to do with Stroll.
It's an interesting one. I don't know what I would do with him.
Can we not give him some reserve test driver or some ambassadorial thing where he still gets to go around with the circus? Do you know what I mean?
I would. I stand by. I think I made this suggestion a few years ago, and I think it's just parroting what most of the people in the motorsport journalism world are saying. Is can we not just put him in the hypercar program or something? I think he'd probably be fine in the hypercar program. Because he's not a bad driver. He's just not a great Grand Prix driver.
He's just not a good F1 driver. Do you know what I mean? He makes 2 silly mistakes. He seems super unenthusiastic in the media pen. He doesn't seem like he wants to figure out any problems that are going on and try help the team fix them. He just cruises into a weekend. If it goes his way, he sounds as enthusiastic as a wall drying, and if it doesn't go his way, he sounds as enthusiastic as a wall drying. Do you know what I mean? It's just, you can't win with this guy.
It is the classic Lance Stroll 3-word response interview after the race.
Lance Stroll P3, Yeah, it was fine.
Yeah, it was a good race.
We did well. It was fine. It's like, dude,
Yeah, that's it. It's like you get a 5-second soundbite from him.
there you go.
It is an interesting one. I don't know what we'll do with him. Obviously we can't do anything with
No,
him.
we're not going to do anything with him.
Maybe send Adrian Newey a message on LinkedIn or something.
Yeah, I might try get his email and shoot him a quick email.
Yeah,
and
shoot him
say,
a message.
Yo, did you
do
see
George Russell and put a PowerPoint together?
Yes. Or maybe I'll do what Toto did and print it out.
Yeah, send him a printout.
But yes, so swiftly moving on to the other green team, the more vibrant green team, Kick Sauber.
Yes, they had an interesting showing.
An interesting bag this weekend. Hulk looked competitive up until lap 7. And then he crashed into the side of Gasly with that extremely rash move.
I don't even think it was that rash.
He just tried to go around the outside and didn't.
But it was the deftest of touches. He didn't go steaming up the inside, lock up the inside wheel, or
rash in
clear
a
into the side
traditional
of him.
sense, no. Wasn't good though.
I think it was just a racing incident. I think the move was on. I think
the move was on.
Gasly just had a little bit of understeer. So I think it was just purely unlucky from his side. So I don't know if it was necessarily rash, but it was definitely unfortunate.
Yeah, but again, his crash caused the perfect safety car.
It was very,
very well timed.
Very Gotifi-esque.
It was. It was very Gotifi-esque. So it was like perfect safety car.
He's coming back.
He's coming back. Is this our new Gotifi?
This is him. Are we going to get this in Abu Dhabi next week?
I mean, but not much to say about Hulk other than
just
that crash. He looked like he could have. He got past Leclerc, didn't he? So
yes, he did.
I think he was
looking racy.
He was looking racy. He was going on to have a good race, and then just unfortunate incident with Gasly, and that's what happens.
That's racing.
I mean, again, Gabby started from the back of the grid, and he had a really good recovery.
My favorite stat: he was the biggest net gainer.
He was. That's right.
Yeah,
the net
plus
gainer.
6 positions.
Plus 6 positions.
So
you cannot go wrong with that.
That's
you know
strong.
What I mean?
Even if you didn't get in the points, it's a strong race.
No,
obviously helped out with the 3 DNFs, but
he was still there.
He was still doing well. He was good.
Because he finished 19th, and I'm pretty sure everybody that DNF'd was in front of him. I suppose it would have benefited him.
It would have helped him a wee
bit. But again, it's about being there, isn't it?
Well, you got to be
and not being out of the race. So you can never count him out for that.
No, he done well.
And moving on to our last 2 teams, we'll start with Haas.
Pretty uneventful weekend for Haas, apart from the fact that they didn't put Ollie Behrman's rear wheel on.
And Ollie Behrman had a slight crash out in the car and nearly destroyed his steering wheel.
I was kind of half expecting that to happen. The purple line you get in your iPhone.
He bashes it and then he's like, oh, I've broke the car.
I broke it, lads.
I've broke it. Well, you know what I mean? This is just all training for Ferrari, isn't it?
This is it. This is conditioning. This is mental conditioning. Get ready, Ollie.
This is like whenever you send the SAS soldiers to camp for like 7 weeks to train.
Yeah.
This is what we're doing. Do you know what I mean?
Like living off MREs in the Welsh Highlands.
Yeah.
Like pissing down the rain.
Yeah. All he's living off MREs and he's living in the wilderness to train for this 27 Ferrari seat. Like,
he's getting ready. He'll be best prepared to anybody. He'll not need the psychological assessment health benefits.
He's gonna need it. But yeah, pretty unconvincing weekend from Haas. We had Behrman finishing in 13th, and we had a DNF from Ollie.
Esteban again was languishing about the bottom of the grid all weekend. Fairly just, I don't know what they're doing. I mean, just not a lot to say about Haas, really.
It's just not
fairly uneventful.
We could drag it on, but
probably best not.
It'd probably be best not to. There's just not much to say. I think they just need to carry a wee bit more momentum into 26 and try forget about this.
It'd be interesting to see because, obviously, them being a back marker, they do have a good chance to sort of bring the car performance up.
Yeah, there's a good chance to get a jump on a couple of teams, definitely, and especially with this new Mayo Komatsu. Do you know what I mean? It's
Ayo Komatsu.
So he'll be starting 26. So it'll be nice to have a new leader for the season and see how it goes from there. But
I think Ayo has his head screwed on. I think he's got a good vision for the team. He's not doing anything crazy. He's not. Berating his drivers.
No. But yeah, that's all I think we have to say about Haas. Our final team and our
Alpine.
Equally disappointing team, Alpine.
Yep. What's to say about Alpine? Just disappointing.
16th and 14th, a lap down.
What can you say?
What can you say other
Obviously,
than the incident with
Hulk? Obviously, Gasly having that incident with Hulk got some floor damage from running wide.
Yeah.
I think that probably that put a dampener in his race as well. You're going to be losing a fair amount of performance with that floor damage. He was strong in qualifying, so there was at least a positive of that silver lining from his performance of the weekend. But overall, I think the team were just not there. The pretty rubbish pace all weekend. Probably drivers probably want to forget this team. Probably want to forget this move into Abu Dhabi. Hope for something a little bit better, and then into 2026, hopefully they've got a decent package. Hopefully that Mercedes engine, if it's as good as it's rumored to be, will let them move up the grid a little bit.
Yeah,
but
hopefully get some point scoring going on.
This year's just been not very good at all for Alpine.
With the not deciding who's going to drive their second car, and just a lot going on with them this season. They haven't been able to find their feet very
There's been
well.
a fair amount of staff turnover this year as well. So
it's just it hasn't been looking good for Alpine. So I think going into Abu Dhabi, once they wrap it up, they're going to be forgetting 25 pretty quickly.
Yeah, I would want to forget that. That would be one to put in the vault and never look at again, I think.
No, absolutely not. But yeah, that's all of our teams for the Qatar 2025 Grand Prix.
It was a good race.
It was strategically a good race. We definitely needed that. If we didn't have that, I think the race would have been a sleep fest, and we would have been struggling to find something to talk about.
Yeah, the DRS trains were pretty gnarly.
It was pretty gnarly, so it's nice that we had that. The gap, 12 points going into Abu Dhabi.
All to play for.
All to play for now.
But we'll see you after Abu
Dhabi, and we will be talking about our next world champion, our new world champion.
I think it's going to be a new world champion.
I think it might be a new world champion.
But it's going to be good. It's going to be a good race.
But yes, thank you for listening, everybody. We hope you enjoyed the video. If you want to leave a comment down below and let us know how we did, and leave a like, it would be much appreciated. Thank you very much, guys.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.